Hey 302, I'm Jackie Ferris. On this week's show, we talk to some of Delaware's most influential ladies while celebrating International Women's Day. Get ready to be inspired. The 302 is headed your way. Hey 302, we are at the International Women's Day celebration at the University and Whist Club at Tilton Mansion. I'm joined now by Stacey Inglis, who is the organizer of the event. Stacey, thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Always happy to have you.
So talk to me a little bit about how we got started with the International Women's Day, and we're in our fourth year, right?
Correct.
Yes.
We needed an event when the club was purchased by new owners. We needed an event to anniversary. And I wanted it to be something that was authentic to the history of the Tilton Mansion. So the home had been home to the 6th Lieutenant Governor of Delaware, J. Danforth Bush, in the 20s. And it was also a private club, which it still is, that did not allow women until 1986.
Wow.
So what we did was sort of bring that full circle. The first year, we honored Sally Hawkins, who was the owner of WILM Radio, which is no longer, and she was the first female member of the University and Whist Club. So it was a small lunch in honor of Sally, and that was our first year. I think we had 75 people. Mm-hmm. And the second year, we decided to honor Delaware's Lieutenant Governor, Bethany Hall Long, and honoring a female governor in the home of a former male lieutenant governor. Seemed like that kind of brought things full circle.
Very apropos.
Yes. So Bethany was our second year honoree. And then last year, Attorney General Kathleen Jennings was our third honoree. So we covered law, if you will. And Bethany had so much fun and enjoyed being here both in the house and the camaraderie of all of the women in a celebratory lunch that she came back last year rather, as well. With Kathleen. So we had her here for the day, and she got to speak about what it had meant to her to be the honoree for that year.
So let's talk about 2020. You're doing something different this year.
We are. When we took a look to see, well, who do we recognize now in the different industries, we realized that we had 4 presidents of colleges and universities in Delaware that were women. And that seemed to really strike a chord with us. I mean, who has 4?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And we did a little research, and at the time, only 26% nationally of colleges had women presidents. So Delaware has 8 recognized college and universities. So Delaware had 50%. So we thought that was something that really needed to be applauded. So we're honoring all 4 of the college and university presidents this year that are women.
Now, can you tell us a little bit about the honorees, a little bit about them?
Sure, absolutely. Dr. Laverne Harmon is president of Wilmington University, and her journey to presidency, I think that's what makes each of them unique. They're all a little different. Hers, she started as a secretary at the college when it was Wilmington College, and went back to school and got the varying degrees and worked her way up through the different positions, and now is the president of what is now a university that she started out as a secretary to.
I have been fortunate to work at a place where a large number of women hold senior level roles, and I know that isn't typical, but I think we're doing okay in Delaware, as evidenced by the 4 female presidents that are being celebrated today.
And Jean Dahlgren, who is president of Delaware College of Art and Design, she always wanted to be an artist. So her trajectory to president of an art college was a little bit straighter of a shot.
As a mother to 2 women, I went back to work after I had my children to demonstrate to them that working women are just as good as a mom as a stay-at-home mom. And I remember going to my first PTA meeting, and there were the stay-at-home moms against the working moms. what? And I remember being the working mom and getting the stink eye from the stay-at-home moms, and I thought, wait a minute, we're all on the same page here. You know, we really have to work together in terms of what's best for our children. It doesn't matter.
And then Colleen Perry Keith, who is president of Goldie Beacom College, told me that when she was little, she wanted to be Mary Tyler Moore.
Didn't we all?
She did, yeah. She wanted to be Mary Richards or Mary Tyler Moore. So her path, which she'll explain today in part of her acceptance or her talk, was a little bit different. So it went from news more into education. And so her journey was slightly different than the other two that we talked about.
For sure, we now get to write our own stories as women. But barriers do still exist, and the ones that concern me the most, given my chosen profession, and I bet I can put the words in the mouths of these 3 colleagues I have, it has to do with access to post-secondary higher education and training for those women who want that. That's what breaking barriers means to me, to provide the means by which women and all students can have access to a quality post-secondary experience.
And then Dr. Wilma Mishu recently retired as president of Delaware State University. Dr. Mishu's father was president of Delaware State University. So her story and her journey is a little bit more on filling the shoes, of a parent, which can be daunting, and not everyone, can do that, but she certainly rose to that occasion.
I always believe in speaking what I really feel and think and believe, and encouraging others to do the same. If you can't be true to yourself, who are you going to be true to?
So Dr. Harmon was the first, not only female president, but the first African American and first female president of any university or college in Delaware. And then after that came Jean and Colleen and Dr. Mishu.
So these are all very inspirational stories, and that's kind of the point of today's event, right?
Absolutely. I know that International Women's Day means something different to different groups across the country. Some use it more to protest things maybe that haven't happened yet that they think should. And we didn't want to do that because we think, women have achieved so much and there's so much to celebrate. So from the beginning, ours has always been uplifting and celebratory and supportive.
So now that you've got the 4th year in the books, you're looking forward to the 5th year. Do you think, are you going to be able to top such amazing honorees, you think?
I don't know. I have something up my sleeve, but I don't know if we're going to be able to pull it off next year. But
and keep your fingers crossed.
I'm keeping fingers crossed. Absolutely.
So if someone wants to find out more information about International Women's Day and the event you hold here, where do they go?
To our Events at the Whist Facebook page. The Events at the Whist page is for non-members. We are still a private dining club. So anything that we have posted on that is open to anyone to come and attend.
All right, Stacy, thank you so much. And
Jackie.
congratulations
Thank you.
on a fantastic event.
Thank you for coming.
We'll be right back.
I'm Emma Van Golen from Puppy Raisers of UD, and the 302 is Doggone Good.
Welcome back. We're at the International Women's Day celebration at the University and Whist Club at Tilton Mansion. I'm joined now by Senator Elizabeth Lockman. She represents the area, and you came to the event to kind of check it out.
Yeah.
Have you been before? Or?
No, this is my first time attending the event. I know it's the 4th year, I believe, and I hadn't been able to attend the luncheon before. So I'm thrilled. It's a couple blocks from my house as well. And when I saw who was being honored, all of these wonderful, accomplished leaders in higher education, I could not resist. So I cleared the day and made sure that I could be here this year.
Now, it's such an important cause. I mean, women uplifting other women, celebrating, what all that it is to be a woman, a working woman, a woman who stays home, whatever your choices you make. So have you been downstairs? Can you kind of tell us what it's like to come to one of these things?
Sure. Well, it's full of women, and there are men too. You've got to have your allies in the room, right? But it's just a lot of hustle and bustle, and we've got some women's businesses down there. We've got some representation from the universities that the presidents represent, and just a lot of chatting and getting to know folks and talking about the things that we're working on. I've seen quite a few people that I know, and sort of catching up and talking about what we hope to do this year and things that we're doing for Delaware and our communities. And it's sort of a great networking event. It's a wonderful opportunity to hear from other women, to support other women, as you said, and really just to reflect on all of the things that we're doing as women in our communities and think about it in those terms, because and all the hustle and bustle, we don't always get to do that enough. And I think it's really important, especially this year. We're celebrating the 100th anniversary of women's suffrage, and we're making a lot of great progress. But we also have a lot more progress to make, I think. And so it's good to kind of have these moments, and Women's History Month, and to think about that, and to have a little bit of a pep rally for ourselves, and that's kind of what it feels like down there.
I think it's kind of important because we spend so much of our time growing up, we have to be as good as the guys, we gotta, or better, exactly. And oftentimes we're measured on a different scale.
Yeah.
So it's good to have an event like this where
Right.
you can talk to another woman who maybe has done some of the same things and can share the wisdom, right?
Absolutely. I mean, and we do have a lot more to deal with. There's a lot of expectations about what it means to be a woman in society, in American society, and in the world. So we have to, try to do all of those things. You talked about, some of us want to go into the world of work. Some of us want to be mothers, and oftentimes a lot of us are doing both of those things at different stages in our lives. So we have a lot of complexities to deal with in trying to fulfill our own goals as women in life. I think women do have to, work harder in certain ways, or at least to sort of grapple with things that men don't. And because we have that position and that need in our lives, it's really important to have these moments where we can come together and commiserate about that and encourage each other.
So I know that you are working on a special bill,
I am.
The menstrual equity
It
bill.
is. It's HB 285 if folks want to, go look it up. And so I am priming that bill along with Representative Valerie Longhurst, who is the majority leader in the House of Representatives here in Delaware. And so it's an exciting thing that we're doing. Essentially what the bill does is it mandates that all public schools, so that's your traditional and your charter schools that serve girls in grades 6 through 12, have to provide menstrual products in a certain amount of their bathrooms. So it sounds like a simple thing, but it's an exciting thing to work on, because I think what it really is about, it's about normalizing womanhood. We know that, in a public bathroom, you can expect to find certain types of products because, the way the human body functions is normal.
Sure.
And so it makes perfect sense to have those products available. This is our way of just saying, womanhood is normal, and these are products that should be available because, the things that our bodies do are natural. And also it creates an opportunity for more equity, because they're, of course, now we have an expectation that you sort of handle that yourself, but not all women in our society can. So it's an opportunity to reflect an intersectionality for our work as women in the public space, to know that not all women have means. And so this is a way to make sure that our girls at that age are supported and don't feel ashamed, and have that opportunity to be on that level playing field. And then it also gives me the opportunity to reflect about other legislators that have come before me, because it's kind of a sequel to a prior bill that Representative Longhurst worked on with my predecessor, the first Black woman to serve in the state Senate, Senator Margaret Rose Henry. They did a similar bill that made sure that those products were provided in correctional facilities.
So if someone wants to learn more about the bill, where can they go?
Go to our state's legislative website, legis.delaware.gov, and just type in HB 285 and learn all about it. And then come on Facebook and let us know what you think.
Alrighty, Senator, thank you so much for joining us.
Great talking to you.
We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Brenton Brom from the Reed House and Gardens. We have all the most gorgeous photographs here on the 302.
Welcome back. We're joined by Lieutenant Governor Bethany Hall-Long to talk a little bit about the things that she's involved in and a little bit about International Women's Day. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for
We
having
appreciate
me
it. Isn't this
today.
a great event?
I love this event. In 2017, I was the honoree. It was amazing. And to be in the Tilton home, which was a physician and also was a home of the Lieutenant Governor. So it was kind of special to me. So it is great to be here celebrating International Women's Day.
So you have a very special thing that you're involved in, National Million Women Mentors.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, that is a tongue twister.
It's
a National Million Women Mentors.
What is that?
That is a wonderful initiative that was started not that long ago, a few years back. And there was an initiative to get young girls and women engaged in STEM careers, science, technology, engineering, and math. A lot of times young women don't think about seeing themselves in the roles of whether it's an IT professional or a scientist or math. And so the STEM piece is really important. So they had a goal of 1 million women across the country and would mentor young girls. And they surpassed the goal. And I am so honored to be the new National Women's Chair representing the Lieutenant Governors across the country. And Governor Kim Reynolds out of Iowa is the other chair.
Why do you think it is that young women, especially in this day and age, I know growing up, people always told me I could do whatever I wanted to do, but I didn't think about it. Like you said, they don't think about it. Why do you think that young girls growing up aren't necessarily connecting the dots?
I think there's a lot of different variables. I think in the traditional sciences, myself included, I am a professor in my other life of nursing. People often think of women in certain traditional lines. I think in our parents' generation and before, it was women as teachers and nurses. And more women today are moving into the STEM field, but we have a lot of work to do. There's still a lot of young women that don't see themselves as leading engineering or math or technology careers. And a lot of it has to do with the socialization and our education system and what messages are sent to young women. I believe today here at the International Women's Day, you're going to see some of those scientists, and we're going to hear from presidents of universities who overcame those barriers and broke through those barriers. And I think we as women and moms and mentors have to do a better job of instilling that motto you just said, that you could do everything. And I think for myself and you, if we were raised in that environment, that's one thing. But a lot of times, even in the classroom, young girls are overpassed or bypassed, and it goes immediately to the young male.
Think about, to all of us, mentoring those young women in the future, handing that hand to them. And so each little girl who dreams becomes a woman with a vision. And so let's help every little girl have a dream and become those women leaders with that vision who changes our country and our state.
Now, are there some initiatives that the organization is working on to try to get this message across?
There really are. And in Delaware, I'm pleased to say not only the Million Women Mentors, but there's a STEM Council, which is comprised of both men and women. And there are many initiatives where we have some national leaders like Dr. Terry Gray at DuPont and PJ Simon, who's retired from there, who have taken these initiatives not only in the mentoring and out in the community with organized events, but also working with our teachers. And I think a lot of it starts there. So not only with collegiate level classrooms, but also middle school, early education, high school. And so where they're having teachers who get recognized and awarded for their efforts, as well as young students who are coming forth. Jackie Means in Delaware is a prime example of a real young mover and shaker. She's from the east side of Wilmington. Her parents saw her in intellect, her drive. She goes out and talks about young girls as scientists and role models. We also have events where women come together around STEM and Goes Red. So we had a lot of folks who are used to the red dress around heart disease, raising that health awareness, but also raising awareness that young girls can be engineers, that they can go into IT, that they can lead companies, and that they have the capability.
So how close do you think, if we roll out these initiatives and we get people educators to start young with, projects in the classroom, curriculum and all of that, do you see this as something that's, I don't want to use the phrase quick fix, but 10 years to some people is a short period of time. Do you feel like we'll be in a different place?
You know, we've seen the needle move a little already over the past 5 years since the state has put an initiative in the STEM Council, Governor Markell, and now Governor Carney with my office as Lieutenant Governor. We actually begin to see more young girls show that interest. But we have a long way to go. You know, we are celebrating across the country awareness, and you know, Sheila and others at the National Million Women Mentors, we're doing podcasts. We're encouraging other women in leadership, whether they're an elected official or whether they're the head of a company or they're in the community, to really begin to value. And I agree with you, this is a low-hanging fruit. I do think we can, at least by a third, you know, increase that and move the needle. I don't think we'll get 100%, but I do think we'll definitely make progress quicker if we get all hands on deck.
So if someone sees this at home and they want to know, okay, I want to be a part of this, I want to help, you know, move the needle, where do they go and what can they do?
I would, a couple things. If they're in, even if they're in the Pennsylvania, Maryland, other viewing area, they can certainly contact my office, Lieutenant Governor Hall Long. You can find me very easily online, but also the Million Women Mentors website. There are groups and organizations in each state and various leaders. And so I would encourage them to visit the Million Women Mentors. And also in the state of Delaware, we have other ancillary groups like the STEM Council that also will be helpful. So come on, sign up. You know, we want everyone to participate.
Lieutenant Governor, thank you so much for your time. We certainly appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy the event.
I will.
All righty, we'll be right back. That'll do it for this week's episode. But before we go, we're going to leave you with a few words of wisdom from International Women's Day. Until next time, I'm Jackie Ferris. We'll see you on the 302.
I cannot be more proud to be the Lieutenant Governor, and as a representative of our state, Governor Carney, I know loves it when I remind him, and to the men in the room, where I have a house full of men, I do remind them of him of my favorite saying sometimes, that if you want something talked about, you tell the man. If you want something done, you give it to the woman. And he will agree.
To end, I'd just like to leave you with a few words of advice. And I wrote these for women, but they can apply to men and women. Support each other, celebrate successes, lift one another up during difficult times, encourage and motivate one another, accept opportunities and challenges in spite of your fears, continue learning, be authentic, don't be afraid to show people who you really are.